You're listening to KOUG Radio. Listen live online at KOUGradio.org.
Hello, and welcome back to Season 2 of Earworm.
Yippee!
Season 2, Episode 1. We're back from break.
We're calling this episode Stuck.
Stuck?
Period. Stuck.
I like it. We're talking about funny stuck animals.
Yeah, and it's about that time in the semester, you know, the beginning.
Yeah.
Where you already feel stuck with everything. So it feels appropriate, you know?
I don't know about you, but I am not enjoying this semester so far.
I am sometimes.
Sometimes? Gotta give me a reason. Break it down for us.
I'd be enjoying this semester more if I wasn't also working 30 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm taking 16 credits and all 4 of my classes are lab classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like lab classes kind of do that to you. You're like, you get through the lecture part and you're like, that wasn't that bad. I get it. I understand it. And then the lab comes up and it's not always the most difficult lab to do, but
they're
it's
always
just
3 hours long.
Yeah. And it's like all the extra work that comes with it. Like, yeah, there's a lab report. This lab report does not need to be as long as it is.
No, never.
I feel like most topics, most assignments that teachers give, it's like, wow, this could really be summed up in like 2 paragraphs.
Uh-huh.
You know?
But then they're like, literally stretch it out for no reason, as long as it can possibly be.
Yeah. I'm taking...
Which I don't know why they do that, because they have to read it and grade it.
Well, no, they have...
And then they can say, I have all these papers to grade. You told us to make them that long.
No, they have TAs.
That's true. That's what the
TAs are for.
I feel so bad for the TA. They
They're
recently
like,
went on strike.
You want to get your master's? You want to get a higher degree? Oh,
read this paper.
You're going to have to grade. You're going to have to be my little education bitch for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it goes. That's the life of a TA. Do they even take classes while they're doing TA stuff?
Yeah. Some of them do.
Not all of them, though.
Not all. But
have you ever had a class with a TA?
I do right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's very funny. We did a little activity, the first lab of a different class where they're not TAing, but they are a student. We played a little activity and it was fun. It was silly because I was like, but then again, one of the TAs for one of my other classes I know personally.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that'd be the same as if you were to go play like dodgeball somewhere and your teacher was there and they were on your team. It's like, why are you here?
Yeah. It's like how my aunt is a volleyball coach at a different school, and I talk to people and I'm like, oh, my aunt works at the school, and they're like, that's your aunt? And I'm like, uh-huh.
Do they say it like that?
We do Christmas. And then it's, yeah. It's a thing.
That's always such a weird thing, is you never really, I mean, I feel like the older you get, maybe the more you start just kind of recognizing it, but teachers have their own life.
Unfortunately. You see them at the Winco in elementary school, you see like your 4th grade teacher and you're like, I want to go home.
I don't need to be taught anymore.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely true. But yeah, this semester definitely it's going to, it's like the point where you're reflecting and you're like, wow,
maybe I don't want to go to college.
Maybe I don't want to go to college anymore. I've wasted so much time. Like, college is there just for
to suck up your time.
No, it's to like prove that you can commit to something for a long period of time.
Hey,
and it's
newsflash, I can't. It's
supposed to be for higher education, and some teachers make sure that that's actually what happens. But then I feel like the majority of them now are just like, go do this. And you're like, what does that have to do with anything that we're doing? It's like, it does, because it talks about it.
Yeah.
Even though it's like the most dry topic in the world, and this could easily be so interesting.
Boy, oh boy, I wish I could name names right now, classes I'm taking, but I am not going to do that.
Yeah. I think we all feel that same way. We all know.
Yeah.
If you know.
If you know, you know.
You know. But anyway, let's hear more about these animals that are stuck.
Yeah, so there's two reasons that I came up with this topic. Well, there's 3 reasons. Reason number 1, I have a story that relates to it that I did tell you, but I'll retell it. Number 2, I discovered the r/AnimalsStuckInThings subreddit.
Is that
Yeah, it is, and it's just pictures of animals just stuck. And sometimes they have really funny captions. Like a lot of the time it's just an animal stuck in something weird and then bold font of like a name. For example, one I'm looking at right now is a sheep on a rock stuck in between two cliffs and it just says Rico.
That's great.
And then there's a donkey stuck in a manhole and it just says Francisco. It's great. It's a really good subreddit.
I think. Oh my God, I see.
Yeah, yeah. It's very much
Gonzalez.
Yeah. You get it. Anyways, I
Oh.
discovered that. And then the third one is I didn't have time to come up with a better topic. So
Oh.
those are the 3 reasons.
Well, we've both been very busy.
Insanely so.
Yeah. But, you know, that's how things go.
Yeah.
I feel like as time goes on, I feel like Rico.
Yeah, stuck on the rocks.
Stuck on the rock.
Anyways, let me get
How
to
did I get to this point?
let me get to my story, which made me think of this topic and
All right.
the whole reason.
I've heard it once before, but
I'm gonna retell
I'm
it.
so excited.
So, as you all know, I am a very fond keeper of reptiles. Okay, I have 27 currently, which is a lot. And I think that number has gone up since we did this last.
Yeah, I think last time it was 25.
Or 24, I think it was at.
Yeah.
Then I got 2 morning geckos, and then one of my other geckos had a baby. So
That's right.
yeah, he's smaller than my fingernail, which is crazy.
Oh my God, I just found the Rico post you were talking
Yeah.
about. That's you made it sound like he was on top of a little rock mound. No,
No.
this is like a cliff with a rock, like the 2 cliffs that are parallel.
Yeah.
And there's a rock wedged between those 2 cliffs halfway
like he
down.
could fall at any moment.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm a fond keeper of reptiles.
Yes.
I have a female ball python. Her name is Appa. She is almost 4 years old, so she's about full size. She's 5 feet long, and how would you describe like this level of thickness?
Or girth.
Like a soup can,
Like a tuna can.
tuna can circumference. So keep that image in your brain. She's 5 feet long. She's got a tuna can out of the thickest part of her body. Because snakes are tapered. They're not that thick all the way through.
I wish that's like cartoon snake.
There was a guy who surrendered a ball python to the pet store, and it did look like a tuna can all the way through. The snake was so fat, and I don't know how he got it to that point because he would only come in like every other week and get like a mouse. And I'm like, how? Because normally ball pythons that are like around that length that it was eat like once a week like a rat.
Mm-hmm.
This thing was eating a mouse once a week, and then but it was as fat as like a tuna
It
can
had to
all the
have
way
been
around.
like getting into other things.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
This
Anyways,
guy's house was probably infested.
it was crazy.
And he's like,
I
"Oh,
could not believe it.
I haven't fed him in a while. Maybe I should give
Let
him
him
a mouse."
free.
Let him free. Yeah, he just leaves him in the backyard.
Anyways, my ball python. I raised her from when she was a couple months old. I think when I got her, she was 3 or 4 months old, so she could fit in one of my hands. She's a very sweet snake. I'm very close to her. You met her. She's wonderful.
Oh yeah. Made us wonderful like tea and cookies. It was great. Very
She
sweet.
didn't, but okay.
She knit me a sweater.
Wow, she doesn't have hands.
No.
But she's also a snake, so she's a little rambunctious and they like to squeeze themselves into tiny places. So I had her out for a little bit because she was kind of antsy. And I was just holding her and stuff. And I was like, where is somewhere where I can put her on the floor for like 5 minutes? And she's not going to get into
I didn't ask
something.
you when you told me this story originally. Why did you need to keep her somewhere?
I just wanted to put her somewhere other than her tank that she could explore and stretch out for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because that's a good enrichment thing for snakes.
And you didn't want to like keep an eye on her?
Okay, I'm getting there. So I wasn't out of the bathroom. I was in the bathroom with her.
Yeah.
I was like, where's somewhere I can put her for 5 minutes where I can keep an eye on her, but also I know she's not going to like bolt under my bed or like in my closet or whatever, and she'll get stuck somewhere. So I was like, the bathroom literally has nowhere she can go. There's no, tiny, like the cabinet backs up to the wall. It's like it's attached to the wall. So there's no holes or anything. Like she's not going to crawl in the toilet, So I put her on the floor of the bathroom. I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking at her. Then I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking at her. She sticks her little head up near the corner of the cabinet, and then she starts going in, and I'm like, what the heck?
Like, what are you doing?
And so then I pull the drawer out of the cabinet because I'm like, oh, she's wedging herself. You know how drawers have like a gap underneath? Yeah. I'm like, oh, she's wedging herself in the bottom of the drawer. I pull the drawer out and there's no gap. And I look, and she's already halfway in at this point. Like, I'm holding her tail because I'm like, okay, don't go any farther in.
Yeah.
But she's already halfway in at this point. So I pull the drawer out. I see that there's no gap, and I'm like, this is a massive issue. And
this is a big oopsie.
Ball pythons, you don't know how strong they are until you try to pull them out of something.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't want to use all my force because I didn't want to hurt her. If I used all my force to try to pull her out, I wouldn't have been able to.
You know, I wonder if that's like, it'd be the same as if someone was stuck and you were pulling on their arm.
I mean, yeah, kind of. You know, like
maybe
they're
she
really
legitimately was stuck.
Well, no, because she kept going in. She went all the way into the so there's like a gap for some reason. I pulled all the drawers out at this point, and for some reason, whoever built our cabinet left this tiny square hole. It was like, it couldn't have been more than an inch and a half in diameter.
Okay.
Or something. Or wait. Yeah. Across width-wise, it was like a square hole. And it was like 1.5 by 1.5 inches. And she's tuna can diameter. Like, snakes can squish themselves into places, but that is like ridiculous that she got in there.
Well, doesn't she only have to fit like her bone through? Like, that's the worst part.
Well, she's got organs in there.
Yeah, but, you know.
We don't need those.
They're a little malleable.
No, anyways, she got herself stuck in this portion between the inside wall of the cabinet and the actual wall.
She's trying to get in the back rooms. She's
right?
Going to
She was. Well, I was worried she was gonna find somewhere to get into the wall. I was like, she's gonna get into the wall and never come out. So I realized, like, okay, she could be either on the side portion, or there's also apparently a gap between the floor and the floor of the cabinet. Like, it's all covered by wood externally, but internally there's this hollow gap. I was very mad at whoever built our cabinet that they left this hole. So
it's their fault.
It is their fault.
Yeah.
So
son of a bitch should have known that I had a
go
snake.
downstairs and I get my mom and I say, "Hey mom, we have an issue. We have a very large problem."
Are you still holding the tail at
No.
this point, stretched all the way down the stairs?
I had to let go because I had to go get help somehow. There's no reason for me to hold on because I couldn't get her out. So I go get my mom. We look at it. And we're like, we're going to have to cut open the cabinet to get her out. Like, there is no way. There's no way, one, that she's going to come out on her own.
Yep.
And two, that like we can reach in there and get her out. I couldn't fit my hand in there. Like, even if I squished my hand as much as I possibly could, there's no way I could have gotten up past like my thumb, you know? So I'm like texting all my reptile friends. I'm like, I need advice. Like, what am I supposed to do?
What do I do? Snake
And they're like,
cabinet.
and they're like, you're gonna have to cut open the cabinet, dude. They did. When snakes get out, they always are like, put a rat or a mouse somewhere for them to find just in case they go for it. That trick never works. You can never lure a snake somewhere. Like, that just does not happen. But I do it. I thaw a rat. I put it on a heat mat. I put her favorite little cave in there. And we're like, okay, we don't know how to, number one, use any of the tools that my father has. And number two, we don't know if he has the right tools to get into this cabinet. He is a small business owner, so he is on the phone and on conference calls on his computer literally from 9 to 5, if not longer. This man is always on a conference call. So
sounds like so much fun.
We have to wait for him to get off a conference call and come out of his office for lunch or whatever before we ask him, like, "Hey, Dad, can you cut a hole in the cabinet and get my snake out?" So we wait for him. And at this point, I know he's going to be so mad.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's going to be absolutely furious. He's not an angry man. My father's a very wonderful person. I've pushed his buttons a lot with how many animals I've brought into the house.
No.
He's not a fan of them.
I can't see why.
So I know he's really not going to be happy with me. I don't even know if he's going to help me. We weren't going to ask him to help because we knew he had to go back on the phone after lunch. We were just going to ask him for permission to cut open the cabinet. We fished out a Dremel. Didn't know if that was going to work, but we fished out a Dremel, and someone just came in, and I don't know if it picked it up or not, but we'll find out. We fished out
little piece.
Yeah, we fished out the Dremel.
Extra tune.
And brought it upstairs and waited for him. He comes out of the office, and the first thing my mom says to him is, "Can I get you a bourbon?" Because like she knows too that he's not going to be pleased. So I start explaining to him the situation, and I'm a very sensitive soul. So I start crying. I start bawling my eyes out because I'm sensitive, and I don't want
for that empathy
I don't want my
angle.
snake to get. I didn't want her to get stuck in the wall for 100 years and. Oh, you know, whatever. Because, like, she could be in there for months if we didn't cut it open and get her out.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to be in there for months.
Yeah, you don't know how many rats she's got left to feed on
Right?
in
How
there.
she's going to come out even bigger than a tuna can, and she's not going to be able to fit through the hole. So he's like, okay, we'll go get a hole saw from somebody. Like, or I'll go buy one at Home Depot or something tonight because I don't have time. I can't. This is also during the snow and ice storm. So...
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't go do it myself because also my car had just broken down.
That's
Life
right.
is really kicking me in the nuts right now. It has been a really rough couple of weeks.
I love that for you.
So I couldn't
Builds character.
Right, I couldn't drive my own car because it's dead. I couldn't drive any of my parents' cars because one, they need them, and two, there's ice all over the road, and I don't have a lot of experience doing that. They don't want anyone to go anywhere. So we have to wait for my dad to be done with his workday, to go get a hole saw, to cut this cabinet open and get my snake out. So we're like, okay. He also wasn't mad at me. Hey, totally freaked out for nothing. He wasn't.
You wanna know why?
He wasn't. It's because I cried.
Because that bourbon.
Oh, he didn't even drink a bourbon. My mom just offered him one. But
you can probably see how
concerned I was, and it was like the most innocent mistake. Like if it was in my room and she'd like crawled under my bed or something, it's like, yeah, no duh. Like she's a snake, she's gonna go try to find a place to hide. But the bathroom is like, and I've handled reptiles in there before for that very reason, that there's nowhere that they can get stuck, which is good that it was my snake that got stuck and not like one that I borrowed from someone.
Such a weird sentence. I've handled reptiles in the bathroom before.
Yeah.
It's not the first reptile I've had in the bathroom.
It's better than saying like I've handled reptiles in the bedroom.
Well, you have.
They all live in my room.
They all live in your bedroom.
Anyways, we have our little resolution. I need to go to work in like, I don't even know. Yeah, it was like an hour or something before I needed to go to work that day. Up. Yeah, which also I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go to work because of the snow and ice. Mm-hmm. So I'm like texting my boss about like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come in from the ice and blah, 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 whatever. No one, who's going to be at the place that I work at? I almost just outed where I work.
Yeah.
We've probably said it before.
Who's going to the store?
Who's going to this
get a
place?
Mouse
right.
During
to the pet store. Who's
it's icy out.
Yeah.
You
like
don't see
no
the
one...
ice and you look out and you're like, damn, today's a good day to get a goldfish.
Right. Man, I better go. I really need some crickets today. Yeah.
Like, I need a bird.
Really looking for a parakeet right now. No, but so I'm texting her on and off. My snake's still in the cabinet. Then I close the bathroom door, turn off the light, like the rat and the heat mat's in there. I'm like, fine, okay. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna do whatever. Tonight we'll deal with it. There should be no reason why she can get into the wall from there or anything. So I kind of go about my day. I start getting ready for work, whatever. My mom's about to leave. And she opens the bathroom door to check. And my snake is halfway out of the hole that she came into with a rat halfway down her throat.
Did you put the rat there?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a random rat. It's not a rat that she found.
I was going to say, your snake did you a service.
Right?
Like, you shouldn't be upset.
No, but I like put her hide out there in the rat, which, hey, remember what I said about that trick never working? Yeah. I guess I lied. But it never does.
You're going to be the biggest advocate of that now.
Right? She's halfway out of this hole. Her thickest part of her body, the tuna can circumference, is not out of the hole yet. She's like just past that point.
Yeah.
Or just before that point. And she's eating this rat. Because completely unbothered by the situation, seemingly.
Living life.
Ball pythons are notoriously like picky and can be really nervous eaters. But no, she's stuck in a hole, no heat, no light. She's in the bathroom on the floor, halfway stuck in a hole, eating this rat. And I sit down, I like grab her midsection because I don't want her to go back in, and just kind of sit with her while she eats the rat, because I don't want to like try to do anything while she's still eating, because that can be really disruptive for snakes. So I'm holding onto her body. She's eating this rat. Everything's going fine. I bring the hide closer. I'm like, okay, I'll just direct her head into the hide so she'll want to go forward, because I didn't think she could back up at this point into the hole because she had just swallowed a rat. So there was a
little lump
down there.
She come back up.
So, but then the rat would have to come back out. And that wouldn't be good for anyone involved.
Especially the rat.
Yeah, well, it was dead.
Oh.
It was a frozen rat.
Well, he's already had a bad day.
Yeah. So, she finishes swallowing this rat, and I go to grab her head and redirect it, and she bites me.
Yeah.
She has never bitten me before. She has never even tried. It didn't hurt very much at all. It hurt my feelings more than it hurt my body. She just tags my hand and lets go really quick, and I'm offended. And so my mom, I didn't even ask her to do this. She ran and grabbed my bite-proof gloves from my room, and it's like, put these on, put these on. She's like panicking. And so I'm holding onto her body with my gloves on, and I'm shoving her head in this cave, and she keeps like bobbing and weaving and like trying to keep her head out of there. She is absolutely not having it. So finally, I put her head in there, and I put my other hand on the cave entrance door so she can't like bring her head back out, and I'm like shoving her in there. And I'm like, Mom, go get olive oil and go get ice cubes.
This is my favorite part of this story, because I love the idea of you like holding the snake, trying to pull it away,
like,
and it's like your mom was just like, oh, and she's like throwing stuff on it, like butter and olive oil, and she's like, what do you need? And she's like, I have soap, I have dish soap. And
no, really, she was a very wonderful helper in this process. So I'm like, she runs, she grabs the ice, she runs olive oil. What I'm trying to do at this point is keep her head in the hide and then like tickle her belly and like poke at her to make her want to go forward, which works. That's how snakes work. And finally she decides she's had enough, and she starts moving forward out of the hole. She has to like push really hard to get herself out of the hole. So I know that she was actually genuinely like stuck for a minute. Like she has to try to get out of this hole. She gets herself out. She puts herself in the cave. I pick her up and put her back. And the crisis was averted. And we didn't have to cut a hole in the cabinet.
No, you just have this cabinet hole covered in butter and olive oil.
And ice cube. It's like wet and slippery, and there's sawdust all over the ground. No, it was very lucky that it went the way that it did, because, yeah.
Yeah.
We would have had to cut a hole in
if you
there.
had to cut a hole in the cabinet. I'm still trying to picture where this hole actually was. It was behind the cabinet door.
So you know
or
how
like the drawer when you pull it out.
Yeah. So our cabinet, the way that it works, you know how most cabinets are like,
Yes.
you have your sink, you have your drawers, and then you have your mirror. So the cabinet part on the left-hand side is attached to the wall. It's attached to the wall on all sides except the side by the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like attached to the wall on the back, attached to the wall on the left side if you're facing it. And if you follow the drawers down, there's a gap between the bottom of the cabinet and the actual floor. So there's like the what's that stuff called?
Trim.
Yeah. I pointed it in this room. There's the bottom of the cabinet.
I think I know what you're
Then there's a trim,
saying.
then there's a floor. And there's like an overhang, like a gap. And on all other sides, on the bottom of the cabinet where the trim is, there's no holes. Even on the complete other side that's attached to the wall, there are no holes. Only on the side that is next to the door, there's like a gap underneath the corner. So you cannot see it unless you literally put your head on the ground and like shove your face in the corner to look up.
That's why your snake was able to find it.
Well, because she's on the ground.
She's down there already.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about putting, because I feel like when you see videos, a lot of the times when you see videos about anacondas, they're in water.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about filling up your tub and throwing them in there?
This is so unrelated.
No, it's just something that came to mind.
Ball pythons aren't great swimmers. Anacondas are.
Oh, I'm okay. So I was just getting them mixed up.
Yeah.
Do they?
Anacondas are boas,
I thought
technically, not pythons.
Oh. Hmm.
And not all snakes are great swimmers. Like,
Well, yeah, I'm assuming if you picked up like a garden snake and you threw it in
actually,
the ocean.
they are incredible swimmers.
Really?
Garter snakes are one of the best swimmers that we have. They eat primarily fish and tadpoles.
Wait, is it garter snake?
Garter, Garter.
Oh my god.
Everyone calls them gardener.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
Yeah.
Gardener.
They do to pick the tomatoes in my garden. No, they're wonderful swimmers. They're excellent swimmers.
Oh.
They're very well adapted for swimming.
So I'm assuming like a rattlesnake wouldn't be though.
No.
Okay. So you haven't.
No, I have not. I
Tub.
have put her in her own quote unquote baths. I fill up a tub, like a plastic tote, with just like an inch of water, and it helps her get stuck shed off when she gets shed stuck on her nose and stuff. But they don't like to swim in deep water. That's not something that they particularly enjoy. So I have not subjected her to that. I have thought about it.
Wanted to anyway, at least.
But
do any of your reptiles?
the garter snakes.
I
They like
forgot
to
you
swim.
have garter snakes.
I do. Don't tell nobody, but they were a rescue situation.
Don't tell nobody.
Talking about it on the
Talking
podcast.
about it on the podcast.
It was a rescue situation.
All
I have
our
reasons.
listeners are gonna start telling people.
I know. Anyways,
What a fun story.
nothing else is a
it's-
prolific swimmer that I have.
No,
No.
not even you.
No. I can doggy paddle fierce. That's it.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I've really owned anything that's a good swimmer either. I really wanted to get it like a really big tank and get turtles or
I do not
turtles.
like keeping turtles.
Why not?
I have strong opinions.
Why? What?
They
Let me hear them.
They are the nastiest smelling reptile out there. People talk about how, ooh, snakes stink. You've been to my house. It did not stink.
Yeah, it was fine.
I have 27 reptiles, and my house does not smell like quote unquote stinky snake or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because I take care of them. Turtles, no matter what you do, they got a stank.
Is it
about
because
them.
of the water?
Yes, because they poop in the water.
Mm.
And then if you don't like physically scoop it out and like change the water every day, it is stanky. It is really stanky.
Well, if I had land, then I wouldn't mind getting a pond.
yeah, there's your solution to your problem.
I like turtles. I
Yeah.
really like turtles.
Yeah, get a pond, put a catfish in there or something, and then some koi and some turtles.
I feel like koi
Boy,
are
oh
a bit
boy.
overused.
I mean, what else can you put outside in this climate? Goldfish is frowned upon because they can get into native waterways and survive and
Well, if it was
reproduce like
like-
crazy.
If it was my own isolated pond,
What would you put in your own isolated pond?
an alligator.
No, you would not.
No, I don't think it would live up here. I think it would die.
It would, because it's like the hottest it gets here is like 80 degrees in the summer. I mean, it can get
No.
hotter.
What are you talking about? The last like 5 years, it's gotten up to like 100 every summer for like a week or two at a time.
Okay, so a week out of the year, it's extremely hot. Guess what it
Yeah.
is the rest of the year?
He'll use
Cold
He'll use that time to
and
build up all
rainy.
this heat storage, and then for the
That's
rest
not
of it,
how that works.
I think it is. I think you're forgetting that I know more about reptiles than you.
That's true.
It's.
That is so true. But that's my little story.
I love it. It's just I feel like when you have pets, they always do funny things, and so you gotta talk about it.
They do.
Okay, that's actually that. When you brought up the ice storm that happened,
Yeah.
so I had to I had work that during that time period, and I work up in Woodland, and there was so much snow, so much ice. People were freaking out about it. Even before it even actually happened, people were like, "Don't go on the roads. It's gonna be terrible."
Yeah.
Like I remember
They
I
shut
was-
down campus before it started snowing.
Yeah, I was at my grandparents before the snow even started, and they were like, "We're gonna get 5 inches," and I was like, yeah, okay, what? Sure, I'll keep an eye out." And then that night, snowed a ton,
Yeah.
froze, and so I woke up the next morning and I was like, "Oh, I really don't want to go to work." And I was
Yeah.
like, "But I don't want to be that guy," and so I got in my car and I drove to. It took me like
Are you
half
still
an
in
hour.
the small car?
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
So not well suited for snow or ice.
No, I mean it's a Honda Civic
Yeah.
with 2-wheel drive, so it's not amazing.
Yeah.
But it took me like half an hour to defrost my car, so I knew I was already going to be late. I get in there, I'm driving. The worst thing about driving around here when it gets snowy or icy is other people.
Oh yeah, no. I trust
Because-
myself, but
Yeah, I lived in Spokane for years, and it snowed
Yeah.
way more up there than it does here. And I feel like I'm a pretty confident driver in the snow. And people were just like all
yeah,
over the
slipping
place.
and sliding like
I mean, even-
Mario Kart banana out there.
Yeah, that morning there wasn't a ton of people, but the people that were out, it's like you're testing the waters, bud. Like there
Yeah.
was a truck. I was a little north of Vancouver, between here and Woodland. And so the highway speed is 70, and I'm going like a comfy 55 because I don't want to lose
That's
control.
not very comfy.
Well,
That's
it's
scary.
comfy-
I
it's
went
comfy for
30
me.
the whole way every time I went to work.
And I was in the center of the highway, and there's like no cars around except for a few every now and then on the right
Right.
side. I'm in the middle. I'm going faster than them by maybe 10 miles per hour, and there's like a line of 3 cars on the right side of the road. I'm coming up, and this truck, this 4x4, just decides to pull out in front of me and we're about to go over the little bridge.
Right.
And so he pulls out in front of me. I'm like, and I go over to the side, and I hit like this. I don't like crash or anything, but like the snow is a lot more dense on
Oh
the
yeah,
left.
you like bonk into
And so it was like, bah, 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 bah,
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
it's flying up everywhere. I was like,
Yeah.
that guy deserves to crash. Like, I don't care who you are. If you pull something like that, go off the bridge,
Well, if you do that anyways, even without the snow, it's like, don't just pull out in front of people. I broke down. When my car broke down, it was on the side of the freeway, which is one of the worst places to break down.
Yeah, I had a tire pop on the side of the freeway like
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
Not where
We're
you want to
having
be.
great car
We,
experiences.
life is going so well for both of us. My snake is getting stuck in places. I have no car. I'm in work all the time, and I'm looking at a picture of 2 squirrels stuck in with their heads stuck in coconuts right now.
Are you still on the?
I am.
It's funny. Cats really like to get stuck places.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think if Elliot's ever gotten stuck somewhere. There's definitely been situations where like I needed him to go somewhere, but he wouldn't. So
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like stuck in place.
Most certainly.
He was very not ignorant. Ignorant's not the word.
Well,
He would ignore me.
yeah.
Like you've been to my apartment complex. We have a
Right.
little wall around where the trash is kept, and then there's a
Mhm.
gate. Well, the trash compactor, after you close it and you've thrown your trash in there, it kind of grinds for a little bit as it squishes it.
Yeah.
And he knows that, and he doesn't like it. And so every time I take him to the dog park, it's usually around the same time I'm taking out the trash. And so I go over there, and I get to the part, and he knows what's coming up. And so I'm opening the gate, and I'm like, I have to go in a little bit to open the door and throw the trash in. And he's like stretched out as far as he can. Like he's at an angle holding himself back from this place as I'm trying to get inside
Poor
to throw the
guy.
trash away. And I guess it could be because of the smell too.
Yeah, but it's probably the sound. I mean,
Yeah.
where I work, there's a trash compactor also, and it does that where you open it and then you close it and it crushes everything. And there was like last night when I was taking the garbage out, there was like a couple inches of water behind the trash compactor because there was like a lip,
Yeah.
and it was like cloudy, and I'm like, oh, I got 13 like contractable diseases just by looking at it. Like it was it was so gross. It was awful.
That's how I feel whenever I go down to Klein Line. Or
Yeah?
like Salmon Creek. Yeah. The parts where the water's really stagnant, where all the
Mhm.
toads are in the
Like,
back.
ooh, gross.
It makes me feel fun looking at it. I'm like, what is in there right now?
Yeah.
I always love the prospect too when I'm a kid. When we were kids. You
Different
look at,
times, but
Yeah. I always looked at large bodies of water. And I mean large.
I feel like
quote
I know what
unquote.
you're about to say.
Yeah, and I was always like, there's gotta be a croc in there.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, I bet I could swim across that. Because that's what I was thinking.
I mean I probably had that thought too, but no, it was always like because I was really big into Animal Planet and like Steve Irwin,
Oh,
the
yeah.
crocodile hunter, and so I
There's
always
a crocodile in now.
I was like, there's gotta be
There's a
one.
snapping turtle.
Yeah,
What do
I
we?
was-
That's a shark in there.
I'd be swimming in Salmon Creek and I'd have my goggles on and I'd like put my head under the water and it's so gross and cloudy.
It's so green,
that
you
you-
can't see anything.
you can't see anything, and I was like, I can't see it, but it's there.
He's looking at me.
He's looking at me. He's thinking about it. And so I'd swim. I'd freak myself out and I'd like, take off back to shore. But
I thought, because whenever I went to like the Columbia River or any body of water as a child and like looked across, I was like, oh, I know I could swim that. Hey, people have died trying to swim across the Columbia River. No, you can't. But I was like, I can do it.
you're like, I'd be the exception. Oh God, I feel that way. That's how think when I watch like Wipeout.
Oh, I love you know, I could do that.
Yeah. Okay. With like American Ninja Warrior, I guarantee I could do that.
I feel like you could. I could not, and I am not confident that I would be able to.
I feel like I'm pretty good. Like I do like a lot of pull-ups and stuff. I don't do CrossFit, but like when it comes to calisthenics and body weight stuff, I'm pretty okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine. And then weights itself, I'm okay with. I'm pretty dexterous, you know? And so I think I could do well on the American Ninja Warrior course. I think the only thing that would get me on the Wipeout course is how inflatable everything is.
Oh yeah, like
then you're like,
boing, it takes your momentum away.
Yeah, you're like holding onto a balloon.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't think I'll be able to do it.
So, I thought of something.
Let's hear
Something occurred. Also, we have like no notes for this episode, so we're just running with
we're
our
ad-libbing.
thoughts. What is the deal with people?
With airplane food.
It's airline food, first of all. If you're gonna say it right.
No, it's airplane food.
It is not. It's
guarantee.
airline food.
All right, look it up. Pull it up.
What's the deal with airline food?
Do we have a clip? Because someone could have typed it in wrong.
Nope. What's the deal with airline food? It's from Seinfeld.
I think it was from his actual comedy before it was in Seinfeld.
I don't know. Here, Reddit. What's the deal with airline food is a joke that everyone knows, but no one knows the punchline for. The punchline is, it's trying to hijack our stomachs and take us to the bathroom.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought airline food was kind of good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. The Bisquick crackers that they give out?
Oh, no, wait. Biscoff.
Biscoff.
Not Bisquick. That's different. Here, would you like some powder?
You like some powder? Yeah, they just give you like a handful of it.
Like a pancake powder, and then they give you water, and they're like, make pancakes.
Yeah, you have to eat it out of their hand like an animal at the zoo.
That is always fun when you go to the zoo and you like turn the little and you put change in, and then you get like a handful, you feed it to the goats, and then they slobber all over you.
Yeah, I never really cared for that part. I mean, I think if they were to let you do it with like something other than a goat, like they let you do it with the giraffe, kinda.
Yeah, well, they used to. I know. I don't know if they did it.
Do they not let you do it anymore?
I don't know. I'm reading more about what's the deal with airline food.
Oh yeah. Let's hear it.
It's usually awful.
That's the whole premise of the joke.
What's the deal with airline food? I mean, is this stuff bad or what?
Yeah, it's a really well-known joke, but I feel like it's kind of mediocre.
I'm just saying that I was right.
Yeah,
that
whatever.
It's airline.
I'm not actually
not
saying
airplane.
I haven't heard him say it recently, so I'm gonna agree to disagree.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, what I was going to say, what is the deal with people like cutting holes out in their bread and like putting it on a dog's face or on a cat's face? Have you seen that?
It's funny.
But like, what's the? I don't understand the point. Maybe it's the little bit of tism that I have speaking right now.
It's just, I don't know. It's kind of it's a funny thing. It's the same thing as people throwing slabs of cheese on babies' faces.
Okay, now that's funny though.
Okay, so it's funny. When it's a baby, it's okay, but when it's like a dog or a cat,
well, it's
you're
not.
Like, no,
it's not like. I don't know. I feel like.
It's just, I mean,
I don't know. It feels different.
You could take it from like a wholesome perspective and say that it's framing their face, and it's like, oh, it's so cute. It's like when you push their ears back and stuff, and it's like just their eyes are like bugging out.
Yeah, I guess
like
so.
That. But it's funny because it's bred, and that's why.
It's also, the trend is called inbred animals, which is very hard to Google without getting some interesting results. Also, all the results are, OMG, my dog ate a whole slice of bread. Is he okay? My grandma had dogs that would literally hop up on the counter and eat an entire batch of chocolate chip cookies and be fine.
That's Ryan's dogs. Koa and Nala, they have two golden like labs. And they will like they're not small dogs, they're big. They'll climb up on the counters and just eat anything that's there.
Yeah.
So whenever we go there, I'll leave like a snack out, and I'll see Ryan before we leave the room. He'll take it and he'll put it on top of the refrigerator, or I'll put it somewhere where they can't get to it. It's really funny because I've definitely stayed the night over there before, and I walk downstairs to get like water or something, and one of the dogs is just on the table.
and then you look at each other and you're like, oh,
I'm like, oh, hey,
hey,
bud.
man.
What you doing up
What's
there?
up?
Yeah. I want to point out I'm on the Animals Stuck in Stuff.
Oh, yes, the subreddit.
And I don't know how he got there, but there's a goat and his horn is stuck on a power line.
I saw that also, and then I saw one like that with a moose.
How do they get up there?
I don't know.
Do they jump?
I guess so.
Is there like a cliff or a ramp nearby?
I don't know. Here's a good question. Have you ever gotten a body part stuck in something and you were like, I'm embarrassed because I genuinely cannot get out, either as a child or as an adult?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I've definitely like dropped my phone behind my bed and like put my arm down there and then like put my arm in between my bed frame and then tried to get it out and I'm like, uh-oh. You know?
Yeah.
I've done that many times.
Okay, I feel like I haven't done it a lot with limbs, but I've definitely been like working on something, like at work as a mechanic. I'll have like a wrench, and it sucks. It happens okay. What doesn't happen all the time? What really sucks is when you have to like wind something through a narrow gap, and then after you get it screwed, you're kind of just like wiggling it around trying to get it free. But there's sometimes where you have a bolt or it's usually a bolt, and you have a wrench, right? And you're screwing it on, and then you're trying to tighten it, whether it has to get to like a certain torque or something, and you have the wrench and you tighten it, and then it gets to the point where there's the bolt, there's the wrench on the bolt, you pull it up, and then the way that the wrench is turning, it can only go up, and so it is on something, it's like pushed against something, and so you're like trying to get it off, but you can't because it's like wedged itself, and that always sucks because then you go into like spasm mode where you're just holding it and you're like yeah. It reminds me of Adventure Time when the little cutesy people invade the tree fort, and he like one of them jumps through a hole in the wall and he reaches in and grabs it and he's like, I got it, what do I do? And he's like, just shake it around.
I don't think I've ever gotten like, maybe I have.
I feel like as a kid I definitely got my head stuck in something.
You have a big head.
Shut up.
You definitely got your head stuck in between the like stair rails I remember something that happened.
Did that just like unlock a memory?
No, this is very on topic. So my cat Sugar, she one time we have like a loft area in our house, so like above the main entryway there's like kind of a, by the stairs, like a loft area, and there's a railing, and it's, but when she was younger and thinner, because this could no longer happen with the way that she's built, she would like stick her head out it and like look down at whatever was happening. Usually when people like were at the front door, she'd stick her head out there and look. And we did think her head was stuck a couple times, but it never was, because she would like look and like her head would be fully through the bars, and then she'd look at you and like, meow, meow, and we're like, are you stuck? Like, why are you crying? And then we go up there and she'd turn around. Oh, but
it's all for attention.
One time she did get like, you know how cats get like spazzy? They get like the zoomies. I think it was when my aunt opened the door or something. She was like sticking her head out, and then she was like spazzing, and she pushed with her back legs, and she fell through the bars and landed on her feet downstairs and ran away, and she was fine.
I love videos of like cats falling.
They're very good at landing on their feet.
They're really good at landing, but there's the moment where they're about to fall.
And they're like,
yeah, they like freak out. Or they're really clumsy and they like misstep and then just tumble.
It's good. I love cats very much.
Yeah, you have some, don't you?
I have two, yeah. They're
I don't
wonderful.
know.
They're
Cats
very
are
old
funny,
right
but
now.
I don't like cat. I would never have a cat as a pet.
No.
I'm allergic to them.
Oh.
And so
that'll do it.
Kind of allergic. It's like my nose just gets super stuffed up.
Oh.
And it's not the best. Plus cats are fun, but I don't know. It's like weird. It's like I don't trust them.
That's fair. Most people don't. Earning the trust of a cat is like
they're always doing something
top tier.
I just realized, is there cameras up here now?
Oh, there are.
Could we do?
Whoa, we could do
like
camera
recordings of us?
Hey, haven't been in the studio in month more. I don't know. It's been a while. Probably about a month.
Has it?
I don't remember when December classes ended.
It probably would have
Probably
been.
a little more than a month.
It was the 16th of.
Oh yeah, so
or
like a
15th
month
of
and a week
December.
or something.
Yeah, so a little over.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think we're just about getting to that time
Just about.
where we're having to wrap it up. Do you have any last minute little fun stories about getting stuck somewhere? I don't really have one. It's not about stuck. Maybe he thought he was stuck, but when I was really little, I had a gecko, and I remember I was
You
sitting.
had a gecko when you were a child?
Yeah, it's
What
like
kind?
like
Like one you found outside?
the gecko kind. No, it was I think it was, what is it, spotted. It was like yellowish orange, and it had spots on it, like its head and its tail. I think it was the one that where like the tail could come off.
That you just described every gecko ever.
Well,
Like
it was like
a day gecko?
No, it wasn't a day gecko. It was like tiger gecko or leopard gecko. Leopard gecko.
that's one of the most common geckos on the planet. I have 2 of them. The thing that
Yeah.
you just described did not sound like a leopard gecko.
What are you
at all.
talking about? It sounded exactly like
It
a
was
leopard gecko.
orange and
I said
yellow,
orangish yellow, which is
and,
what its body
it
color
has
is.
spots on his head and his tail.
Yeah,
They have
that's
spots all over unless it's a certain morph.
maybe it was a certain
Okay,
one.
okay, fine. Sure, a leopard gecko.
Anyway, I think he might have been upset with his life because I remember I was playing with him on the stairs one time and he tried to jump off.
Oh no.
I think he didn't like me. I think he was trying to commit suicide.